Welcome crafters, Michelle here. I have a beautiful fall gnome updated for 2025. I had my original fall gnome that came out in September of 2021. It was the one that started the revolution for the fall gnome. So this is my neutral fall gnome for 2025. Stay tuned and I'll show you how to make it. To get started on our fall gnome, you're going to need one of the tinsel witch hats that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. Now these show up in stores when they get their large shipment of Halloween signs and tinsel decor in, which should be happening anytime soon. So with this frame, you want to remove the bow, the buckle, and all of the tinsel. Usually you can find the beginning of the tinsel at the tip of the hat or on the right side here at the tip of the rim. I removed all of the tinsel. Now you want to make sure to leave the hanger. This is what you're going to use to hang it once you've finished. Now we're not going to be using the rim part here on our hat. So you just want to take a good pair of wire cutters and you want to remove the rim. Just be careful not to cut this bottom piece. You're going to need that. Now that my rim is removed, I want to remove all of these little pegs. Now they did really good work at keeping the tinsel on, but they're gonna get in the way when we go to wrap our hat. Our form is ready to go. Now for our beard, you're going to need several different types of florals. And these I pick up from Dollar Tree. They have carried them for the last 5 years and I really like them. This is the first year though that I found them in this really white, very light kind of creamy color. Unfortunately, florals at Dollar Tree have gone up to $1.75. I do have 5 stems. I also have a couple stems of this. Again, it's done in the neutral color. We have a little acorn, some berries, and some pretty leaves. This one is called Oak with Acorns. So I have 3 stems of those. And then I think these are really pretty too. It's another neutral color. It's called Harvest Floral Pick. Has a couple really pretty flowers, and then I really like the leaves on this one. They look to have a lot of texture and detail to them, and I have 3 of those. These beautiful florals are what we're going to use to do our beard. Now I'm prepping all my florals. On these guys, all I did was take the tags off, and then the ones with the acorns, I just cut them down into individual stems. And these little guys, you get a floral, leaves, berries, and then a floral with some leaves. So I think I'm going to add the second set of leaves to the second floral. And I want to leave my stem as long as I can on the second bloom here, and then the berries. I can always cut it shorter if I need to when I start adding it in. But by breaking these down, it'll make it a lot easier for me, and I'll be able to get better placement with all of my florals. All the florals are prepared. And now you want to turn your form over. We're going to be working on the back side. Now as we build our beard, you need to remember what you lay down first is what is going to show in the front when you turn it over. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to start with a few of these smaller pieces. And initially I'm going to hot glue them to this, and then I'm going to go back and I will reinforce it either with some pipe cleaners, some jute cord, some wire, whatever you have available will work. Just going to add a small amount of hot glue and get this attached directly to the frame. In the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. Now I'm going to be using floral wire to reinforce my florals. Gluing them down just will hold them in place long enough for me to take a piece of wire and to completely secure it. Especially if you want to put your wreath outside, you want to take this step because your hot glue can always fail if you put it outside. Next I'm going to move on to two of these, and I want their leaves to start right here at the rim. Again, I'm going to glue them on first and then wire them down. So I have 3 of my large leaves attached. And now I'm going to attach the last 2. And I want to put one on either side. So it fills in a little bit better, just like that. So I still have my point down here for the tip of his beard. And then that will fill in. Once those large ones are attached, I'll easily be able to glue the other ones in, and then we'll fill this in nicely. It'll have beautiful different color tones of neutral, berries, acorns, florals. It'll be gorgeous. Okay, so I have the majority of my beard done and I'm really happy with that. I love the choices of all the neutral colors. Now remember, I started with the long leaves. I attached those first. Then I fed in all of my additional pieces, attached them to another stem that's in the beard with a zip tie. And then you want to go back and hit it with hot glue. But look at how beautiful that neutral beard is. I will do some final adjusting and everything once I get the hat on and the nose. And we're going to work on the nose next. Now for our gnome's nose, I always like to use a good sized styrofoam ball. You can pick this up in the floral department at Dollar Tree. This one is a 3-piece set and they are 2.3 inches in diameter. And then you need like a knee-high, these are called trouser socks. You want something that looks nylon and that has that kind of natural skin color, because this is what we're going to use to cover our styrofoam ball. Styrofoam balls don't paint really well, so they're a good size and everything, but I find that you want to cover them either with nylon or fabric when you do the nose, unless you're looking for a really rough textured nose. So you want to stretch your nylon over your nose as tight as you can. Tie it nice and tight in the back. I'm going to double knot it here. I don't want it to slide out. Put a little glue there in the knot. Then I'm going to cut off all this excess. Okay, now this is the back. That's what you're going to glue in. And then you'll have this beautiful, smooth nose for your gnome. So I want to put my nose right there. And I'm going to glue it in. I have my nose on, it's nice and secure, and I'm really happy with the way the leaves are laying. Now we are going to put the hat covering the top portion of the nose, but I think he is coming along absolutely gorgeous. So now we're going to work on the hat, And I love to stuff my hat, and today I have some bubble wrap left over from a package I received. This is what I'm going to use to help give a little bit more fluffiness to our hat. And then I took a trip to my thrift store. I was looking for a sweater because I wanted to cover the top in a sweater material. And this is the one that I found. It's an open, kind of like a sweater jacket. But I really loved, has all the right colors for fall, and it was only $1 at my thrift store. So this is what I'm going to use. And I was looking at it, and it looks like one of the arms will probably be enough to cover the hat. I may have to come down a little bit further. But yeah, that looks like that should cover the top of my hat pretty well. Now Dollar Tree has all kinds of neutral material to choose from. You could use either one of these. I found them at Dollar Tree. They would go beautifully to cover the hat, or whatever else that you can find in your store that is in the neutral tones. Okay, so before I get this part on, let's get some stuffing. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's okay that it doesn't completely cover the tip. I can always take a piece off the sides here. So I'm going to get this glued down, and then I will cut it. Enjoying today's content? Please show your support by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and sharing the video with your friends. So I want the cuff end here and the cut end there at the bottom. Slide this over. Okay, you want to make sure that it is big enough to cover everything. And I'm going to start to attach up here, and I'm on the back. Enjoying the content and want to see more? Make sure to hit the subscribe button. When the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube should let you know every time I upload new content. So I've just attached it here to the end, folded it down, and folded the front over a little bit so I have a nice clean edge at the top. Okay, and then I'm just going to start on the easy outside curve, and I'm going to start pulling that in and gluing it down so I can follow the shape of the hat. And I'm going to cut off any excess. I want to leave about 1 inch. That way I can kind of roll that edge so it stays clean as I glue it down. Now as you're gluing this side down, you don't want to pull it too tight because you're going to need some adjustment space on the other side. So you see, I have that nice simple curve, and now we're going to work on this side. This side always seems to be a little bit more difficult, especially in this area. Now you want to do the same thing down this side. You want to just kind of roll it in and glue it down as you go. Now if you have issues here, if you're using regular material, what you can do is snip in a few snips, and that'll make it a lot easier for you to wrap that around. Because this was sweater material, no issue. It went nice and smooth. And look at that side. Isn't that beautiful? And it looks nice and fluffy. And I have plenty of fabric down here for what I need. Okay, so I'm just going to go back through, make sure everything is tacked down nicely. I'm going to get the bottom here tacked down and then trim this excess off the back. Okay, so I have my hat wrapped. Just remember when you're wrapping to cut a hole and pull out the hanger. I forgot and glued it all down, so I had to cut a hole and then add half a pipe cleaner. So if you forget, that's all you need to do is just come down the curve a little bit and poke in, attach it to the frame, and then you have a hanger. Just add some glue around there so that you don't have anything come apart there on the hat. I just folded the edge under and glued it down so it looks clean across the back. And now I have the front here. Too much fabric here. Okay, we are looking so good there, but we're not done with the hat. Now I have this faux fur ribbon. I did pick this up from Hobby Lobby. It comes out of the Robert Stanley collection, 4 inches by 6 feet. You want to cut a piece that will fit across. This is going to be the brim of our hat. I want to start first by folding over a piece and gluing it down. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side because I want a nice clean edge on both sides. And then I'm going to glue that right over the front here. Want to make sure that I cover up the other part of the hat. Perfect. Make sure to pull your faux fur all the way around to the back, glue it down, and trim anything that's excess off. If you need to, use some clips to make sure that that gets good contact. So now we have the rim of the hat. I want to make a little pom-pom for the tip of the hat. So I've taken a little pumpkin that I took off of one of my stems. This is what it looks like. And I took the little stem out, so all I have is the pumpkin. I placed it on my fuzzy ribbon, and I cut a square so that both points can meet at the middle on the top. Want to place some glue and get that right down in the center. Then take your scissors. You want to stay close to the fabric so you don't cut too much of the fur. You want to make a cut up to the pumpkin, and you're going to do that 4 directions. Okay, so I have all 4 directions cut. Then you want to start at the corner. You're going to pull that in and you're going to glue it down in the center. I'm going to start, add some on the side. Okay, now you still have the other 2 flaps, and you'll go ahead and glue those down and trim off any excess. And then if there's any seams, you just want to pull the hair away from the seam and then glue down that seam. And then you can fluff the hair out around it and you will not be able to see it. The last embellishment that I'm going to add are some more smaller acorns. I think it needs just a little bit more of a darker color to make everything pop. And I'm just going to be hot gluing these in among the leaves. And here you go, my friends. I got my little Pom Pom there on the top of my hat. I think that was the perfect addition for my hat. It's nice and simple but beautiful. It gives that warm, cozy feeling for that brisk air in fall. Absolutely gorgeous. And look at his beard. Now I used all of the florals that I showed you, and I did go ahead and add a good handful of the smaller acorns, and I really do like them. They give that pop of darkness, which adds a lot more dimension to his beard. But look at how beautiful that is. All different neutral florals, leaves, acorns, and berries. A beautiful update to my fall gnome for 2025. Oh my goodness, that was such a fun fall craft. So let me know, what do you think of my new updated fall gnome for 2025? If you're looking for more fall inspiration, you can check out my playlist by clicking here. If you would like to see the original fall gnome, you can check that video out here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so by clicking on this icon here. When the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube should let you know every time I upload new content. Have a great day, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.